Amy and I are leaving Mohawk. It has been a long, long morning, frustrating morning. You know, I get up and it was windy. I looked at the weather. The wind is 40 kilometers an hour out of the west. That's a headwind at Mohawk. Gusts of 50. Some of the horses just won't. You know, that wind hits them and they're just youngsters. They just don't want to go forward. And I think that was the case with Frilly Fringes. I'd asked Sylvain. He said, yeah, the wind kind of hit her and she did the moonwalk and she kind of went on when the other horses come to her, but you can't do that, right? And we talked about this. Frilly Fringe has done this before where she'll be open up a length and a half training and somebody will come and pick her off, right? She's much better covered up. But what are you going to do? I mean, Sylvain got away on the front end. Really, nobody could leave in there. I didn't want to leave with One My Heart Hanover. James didn't want to leave. The horse I thought would end up on the front, Miss Meringue, Jason Ryan had her a little close to the gate. She's been good at the gate. He said she just went to switch gears going into the stretch and threw her head, which she probably touched herself and made a break. You just gotta let her float into the gate. I don't like putting them right on the gate. And to each his own. She still should have been fine. Anyway, it's not the end of the world. You know, we qualified 11 horses and one made a break at the gate. A horse that doesn't usually make breaks, hasn't for me anyway. So I'll make a point and I'll go with her next week. Well, so, can you get that back up? So the first qualifier, we talked about this, how when the halves don't set up good, you get that big headwind. You know, James and James, I was surprised he left with I'm a Lovely Lady. I was surprised he went a half in 102 off a quarter in 32. Him and I had a little heated discussion yesterday about qualifying the babies, and I said I wanted a mile in 2-2. And obviously with the wind and everything today, really couldn't blame him if he went a mile in 2.5, really. I just didn't want the horses going out and going in 2.4 when they should have. Frilly Fringes, I was obviously a little disappointed with. I know Frilly Fringes. Putting her on the front, that wind hit her in the head at the head of the lane. She'll go out and qualify in 59 or 2 minutes next week if they go that in front of her. But she's just not quite as good on the front. And you guys have seen that. For those of you who follow us, you've seen Frilly Fringes time and time again. Sometimes she's good, she's okay. It's not her forte. And she wasn't awesome today. One My Heart Hanover, again, was coming with a full head of steam. Chris Christopher, who kind of came out and I had to check her. We took the head pole took the line pole and the Murphy off the inside. She was running in a bit in the last turn. I want to make some significant changes with her. I want to lighten her front end up. I feel her working in the hobbles when she shouldn't be. I want to lighten that up. She wears a 5/8 with a set of flip-flops up front. She's only had the flip-flops on a little while, and I don't really see an improvement with them on. So I'm going to opt to go right to a full swedge with her. We're going to lighten her right up next week, and I'm going to take the back to the bike hobbles off, and I'm going to put the belly band hobbles on, which I hate. But I think in this particular case, I believe One My Heart Hanover will enjoy them a lot more. She'll work better in that type of hobble. So we're going to work this week to get her set up in those. That is a significant shoeing change. We went from toe weights and 5/8 to a set of, we're going to go to a set of full swedge shoes and a set of bell boots. That's a significant change, but I think she warrants it. She was smart today. She did her work so good. You know, I put her in gear in the last turn. I didn't mean to be out there. Just everybody was half in, half out, and I just didn't want to fight with her. I don't want to put her on the run for no particular reason because everybody else is, you know, moving with half measures, so I just let her float out around them. If I had have tapped her on the tail, she would have cleared off the lead and likely would have chased down Frilly Fringes. But again, nothing I hate worse. You know, that break from Really Blue Chip the other night bothered me to no end. You really got to watch it when horses are switching their leads, and this is her first time at the track. We had taken some gear off her, taken some weight off her. I wasn't taking anything for granted, so I just let her saunter the last 3/8. But, man, she was good. She wasn't breathtaking, but she was pretty good. Frilly Fringes a little disappointing, but, I lost it again. Frilly Fringes was a little disappointing. I'm going to get a juice. You want one? Frilly Fringe is a little disappointing, but not bad. Big, strong filly. Sylvain, I think, I didn't think he'd be on the front end. It's Sylvain, so I said to him after, I said, bad choice. She never put her on the front. I told him, you know, she's a nice filly. I had trained her pretty good last week, and I just, it never dawned on me, like having to tell James to put her on the front. I just never thought she'd end up on the front end. But not a big deal. A good experience for her. She got, you guys don't know how windy it was. The whole... You know, James came up to me after the fourth qualifier. He said, those are good pacers. They went in 58 and 3, just so you know. So the second, I'll meet you in 1 sec. The second qualifier was fantastic. Now there were some horses, crap, I did it again. There were some horses that Amy said Girls with Swirls coughing her head off. Obviously, she's sick. I'm going to have her scope back at the barn to make sure. But I think, between her saying the horse was coughing and watching what just took place, she's sick. She didn't exhibit any signs of sickness, but she is. I would suspect Tanzanite Tricks. We're going to scope her also. Again, you had that big mile in front of those horses. She probably trotted in 2.7. She obviously can go more than that. We'll have her scoped again. So we'll go back to the first set. First set, Girls with Swirls was poor. Again, we'll scope her. Frilly Fringes a little flat. Miss Meringue, very disappointed with the way she threw her head at the gate. But, again, you can't take it for granted. And I know that Jason Ryan afterwards kind of felt a little bad about it. It's not the end of the world. He didn't know the filly. We had Jody down who did know her, but Jody didn't show up today. So at the last second, we asked Jason Ryan to go with the filly, and she made a little miscue. I'll go with her next week. My Jazz, James thought the trotting hobbles were way too tight. This is a problem. You run into 11 horses, first 2 qualifiers, getting them all over here, getting them all warmed up, and then, by the way, they don't want you in the paddock too early. So it's a different time we live in. Tomorrow, I requested that we take all our horses over early, and Blake McIntosh and I are going to take up the whole portion of the new barn. There's 50 of us, 50 of them between Blake and I tomorrow. So we're going to start shipping over early, get them all warmed up in the race bike right here at Mohawk so that we're all ready to go. Not a big deal, but My Jazz, I believe, we had her warmed up in the race bike at the track. We would have known, hey, those hobbles are a little tight, and let them out. I'd said to James in the second set, if you look closely, coming out of the first turn, That's My Girl was a little rolly in the first turn, and when we come out of the first turn, you can see me reach down. I reached down and tightened her hobbles up 3 holes. She was awesome after that, but you don't want to get into doing that. As Amy said, what happens if you had to drop the strap? Then your hobbles are gone. So I felt that I could do it, no problem, and I did, but it isn't something that I would definitely not recommend. So go back to the first set. Frilly Fringe is a little flat. I thought One My Heart Hanover was good. We're going to also put an aviator on her next week. So close her up a little bit, which she hasn't had in her life. Maybe put that line pole back on the inside. Change her shoes. Change her hobbles.
She's wearing earplugs and an ear hood too.
And Amy said she's wearing earplugs and ear hood too. I'm not worried about the hotness. I'm worried about comfort. So I felt that she could have been a little bit better today, but she was good. So the first set was underwhelming, right? 1/2 and 4, 3 and 4, 134 and 1. And I don't want to say, it was much windier than the second set. I don't really know. It's windy. So keep in mind, I think if James goes out and goes in 2-4 with I'm a Lovely Lady, we're not having this conversation, but that's how good I'm a Lovely Lady actually is. For those of you out there saying, oh, she's small and I don't know what she'll do. She just went a mile in 2.2, which is an incredible mile, through that wind, on her own, out of the 9 hole, 2 fingers. James said, I just started her up in the last turn. He said, I knew how windy it was going to be. He said, she just cut right through it like a knife. He said, I spoke to her halfway down the lane when you were coming to me with That's My Girl. She went on again. Just a very, 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 very nice filly. So I'm a Lovely Lady was awesome. I was a little surprised how good That's My Girl was today. Not to say that I'm surprised of her talent level. Just, a little rolly in the first turn. How strong is she going to be in the last turn? Tightening the hobbles up definitely helped because she trotted right through the last turn. And then also, Mama Knows Best was very good. It's hard to explain to you. Do yourself a favor. It's still windy. It's not as windy as it was at the start of the day. It's 11 now. At 9:30 and 9:40, it was much, much windier. But do yourself a favor. Scroll through the results today and see what I'm talking about horses that should have went faster, that went quite a bit slower, and then try and extrapolate that, if you feel the need, to I'm a Lovely Lady set. Again, set 1, a little underwhelming. Set 2 was awesome. I'm a Lovely Lady, That's My Girl, and Mama Knows Best was very good. A little bit back, a horse that was very surprising was Sweet Ambitions. Sylvain said he likes Sweet Ambitions, so that was interesting to hear. She's kind of been an underwhelming filly forever. So to say that he liked her was a pretty strong statement. Eclair AM, Paul McDonnell went with her again. Jody was supposed to go with her, and he didn't show up. Paul went with her and said the hobbles were a little tight. I put them on tight because I didn't want her to run. So we can loosen them up. We can tinker with our hobbles so that we have a better gauge of where they should be. Again, we'll come back with some of these fillies next week. And I believe Eclair AM is one we definitely have to come back with. Tanzanite Tricks looked a little sick. To me, looked a little sick. We'll get her scoped. But the second set was fantastic. 1/4 in 32 seconds a mile and 2 and 1 on a very windy day. Very impressive 2-year-old filly in I'm a Lovely Lady. That's my girl. And Even Mama Knows Best. Great miles from all 3 of them today. So, 11 went to the gate. 10 stayed on gate. 8 of those did very well. 2 looked a little sick. I'll confirm soon enough. But a very good start to the 2-year-old qualifying session, 2-year-old qualifying season. And we'll be back tomorrow with 27 horses. 27 horses, I believe, tomorrow. Lots going on at the Mohawk Paddock tomorrow. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.